Every single second in Counter-Strike matters. One wrong move, miscalculated swing, or even step can mean the difference between winning or losing a game. And these timings plague every match, even at the tier 1 level. In this head-to-head classic between two of Counter-Strike's biggest juggernauts, you're going to witness some of the unluckiest, out-of-this-world timings that ultimately decided this match. But does getting timinged really exist? And is there a way to avoid them? Or maybe you could create some of your own timings to win yourself some rounds. There is. So stop chalking things up to luck, folks, because in this game, you're going to learn just how important timings are in Counter-Strike and how to abuse them. Spoiler alert, these timings weren't really timings, but could be argued as mistakes. Yeah, even your favorite pros make mistakes from time to time, but if your favorite pros aren't perfect, how many mistakes do you think you're making in your regular games? How much ELO are you losing? Don't you want to avoid those? Well, let me introduce you to Gosu Academy, the #1 online CS2 training platform. Forget video courses that don't actually help you improve, and stupid one-on-one coaching that's too expensive for what you get. These guys are the real deal. With Gosu, you receive a monthly training program including multiple live sessions each week to help you play like the pros, plus daily community 10-mans with prizes, plus multiple coach 10-man classes for direct coaching and guidance in a team environment. Why try to improve alongside drilling credits when you can get coached by the cream of the crop? As a matter of fact, I used to compete against some of these players daily, so you're not going to find this experience anywhere else. So what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description to sign up now, because the first 100 people that sign up get their first month free. Now let's get back to the breakdown. This game has been absolutely riddled with timings.
What in the fuck is that?
I mean, FaZe just couldn't catch a break. On round 5, FaZe found themselves with the upper hand on their eco round, ready to put Virtus.pro away and finally put themselves on the board. But Rops peeked out for information right as Fame scaled up yellow, lost their advantage, and then the round. Or on this round, Mur played Ring Around the Rosie with Rain. Forcing Virtus.pro to drop the bomb and prevented Fame from having enough time to win the round. Or wait, look at this. Virtus.pro had to save and gave their hero Flit their only AK, and they tried to gather him some form of intel by doing this.
Here for Brokey and Carrigan up close with the MP9. Carrigan, got to be aware that there was that run boost in play. Brokey fires off a shot.
Carrigan thought he heard something, and he did. Him going down released the floodgates for Virtus.pro to overrun A for free. Now, it gets worse. Here, FaZe had a solid setup that took the offense by surprise, and looked good for more than one, but Brokey lobbed a flash from spawn, destroying Carrigan's retinas.
Unfortunately, the second one does not go in his favor, baiting in Carrigan, 10 HP.
And to top off the half here, Virtus.pro were preparing to go A. Flit jiggled Crane, cleared it, then 3 seconds later, got put down, which later cost his team the round.
They're going to be cruising to a lot more than a knife. Sky is the limit. Not many.
But were these really timings? Were there precautions that either team could have taken to prevent these mishaps? You tell us in the comments, and while you're down there, subscribe. But regardless, the most minute decisions can end up winning or losing rounds, and it continues in the second half. Coming off the back of a Twist 1 vs 1 clutch, he's the only one with full util, while his teammates only have AKs, armor, and a few nades here or there. They start the round in a default split, with Carrigan holding mid, Brokey and Twist holding B, Rain going to his bottom ramp position, and Rops flying up the ladder to his domain. FaZe doesn't know how much money Virtus.pro has in the bank, and there's a possibility that there's an eco push coming their way. By spreading out like this, the offense aren't leaving any gaps and can respond accordingly just in case. Once Rops gets top ladder control and claims mid for himself, Carrigan dips out of mid to meet with his homies towards B. Now Rain has waited out the duration of the enemy initial ramp smoke and is applying pressure on A to keep Virtus.pro occupied while FaZe establish B stairs control. Rops inches forward, slowly claiming middle info and space so that he'll be able to make a play for or off of his teammates while they go B. Meanwhile, Virtus.pro have started the round by forcing up 4 rifles and an SMG paired with very limited utility. Now, despite FaZe's initial precautions, Virtus.pro are a very slow and reserved team and wait to strike when the time is right. In this round, they again choose to slow roll by starting 2B and 3A. Mur throws some utility towards ramp to help establish the control, and once his teammates are able to secure this space, Mur falls back to spot mid from elevator. Fame jiggles close danger with a defensive smoke primed and ready to drop under his feet. Be sure to remember this routine that he's doing, as it's going to come into play in future rounds. As Rops finds 0 resistance at middle and his teammates with full B control, he starts to creep up further and further. Rain is grouping towards B to meet up with the rest of his team, and FaZe begin to line up their nades for an execution. But Virtus.pro's spidey senses are tingling. Since they have full ramp control, and they read that Rain was doing solo fake pressure, they start to shift their setup. Mur transitions into B under window, ready to help B, and James picks up Mur's position towards elevator. Wait a minute, as Rops is creeping up, he spots James' shoulder at elevator. Now laser focused on this elevator position, Rops is thinking that Virtus.pro is still in a 2-1-2 spread and that Rain's pressure is keeping them occupied. Rops moves to strike B from behind with his insane timing.
Now Rops' presence, holding directly for him.
But he gets taken down by Mur from CT spawn. Rops was not expecting this additional player and thought he had single-handedly won the round. Because Flit had full ramp control, and FaZe wasn't pressuring him off, he felt comfortable enough to solo this deep line. In the worst case scenario, if FaZe did come back to A, since Flit had all this extra space, it creates a huge buffer of time for his teammates to rotate into appropriate positions. When Rain finally tried to apply some pressure on ramp, Flit backed up a bit and mollied behind the ramp smoke. Because nothing else happened, Flit repositioned himself towards side hall and knew that he was dealing with just a lurker and not a real threat. But the jig is up now, and FaZe need to respond quickly if they want a chance to salvage the round. Fame drops his defensive smoke near danger, but this allows FaZe to all travel up to the top of the stairs. With their smoke landing towards right side gen, FaZe begins scaling into sight. Brokey is able to isolate kill after kill by positioning himself around the sight boxes and using the smokes as cover. As he takes down 2, he keeps going for more, but he overheats and dies. With the space that Brokey has created, Kerrigan gets into sight and plants the bomb. Twist throws a smoke grenade at the feet of Kerrigan to keep him alive and create an escape option, but Kerrigan gets caught crossing back the stairs on the timing of this fading smoke.
Taken away. No kit, similar to that last round. And
Virtus.pro creates a break in the action and is setting up the long con, with James making his way on an around-the-world flank. This type of flank only works if your teammates get kills on the initial retake, because FaZe will have to watch forwards to get trades. Virtus.pro drops another smoke between Danger and Triple and force their way forwards, going 1-for-1 on Rain. Twist is completely unaware of James coming in from the backlines and has to respect the fact that Virtus.pro can defuse behind this smoke. James closes out the round with the flank on Twist, and Mur is able to defuse with ample time remaining. After losing the post plant in the previous round, FaZe are met with a tough decision. Do they force with rifles and no nades, or pistols and SMGs with a bit more utility? They opt for the latter, hoping to catch Virtus.pro off guard with a tempo change. FaZe purchase up 1 Galil on Twists, and the rest of the squad invests in Tech 9s so that they can each afford full utility. Their plan is to eventually fully execute on B site and close the gaps with smokes and mollies to let the Tech 9s shine. Going B on a round like this for FaZe is a great option. With these smokes to shut out any long-range duels, they're able to abuse the Tech 9's running accuracy and one-shot headshot at this distance. At the start of the round, FaZe want to keep Virtus.pro busy by delaying their A rotates with this side hall smoke from Rops and a molly behind cement from Rain. After they throw these pieces, Rops and Rain quickly shift over to the rest of their teammates that are posturing towards B, led by Twists and his Galil. Only this time, they don't want to show their hand at B with a default nade set. Previously, Twist and Brokey have been denying information from the defense with smokes and mollies, but this time, they aren't. By contacting up, they want to explode on the defense, hoping to catch them on the back foot. Now, Virtus.pro started the round normally with their heavy A defense by smoking ramp and swinging it with a flash. FaZe and Norbert have started the round in their defensive positions, ready to spot for info and fall back to wait for a rotation. Now, as soon as Virtus.pro have ramp control, it's safe to assume that FaZe is either going for a B or a mid to B execute, so Mur rotates over to help hold mid control. With this deep line, Flit can safely spot A pressure, fall back if necessary, and his teammates can rotate in time to stop and execute. So can the Tech-9s muscle through this 3-stack? Once FaZe make their way out B main, they begin setting up their execute.
Right read. It is still going towards his B bomb site. Norbert, lovely utility placement. It allows him to evacuate. The Molotov comes down onto him. Karrigan's been spotted like ships in the night. Passes Mir, somehow gets onto Jame, but mitigated by Fame. Bomb still yet to be planted. Twists that one rifle brought into the sun.
Talk about a disaster for Virtus.pro. Brokey kicked things off by throwing a Molly Danger, which secured any immediate threat, while the rest of his team moved into position to lob their pieces. Norbert tried jump spotting over the smoke, but couldn't get any clear vision, so he nuked stairs, and as soon as Fame heard this molly, he dropped the same smoke at his feet we've seen before. Now, you remember how I told you to remember this stall smoke? It's meant to help Virtus.pro delay a push and help them hunker down. But FaZe managed to turn it against Virtus.pro. The offense called in an airstrike. They threw down these smokes on the left and right side of Generator and laid out mollies on the entirety of the catwalk, clearing quad and default. This allowed them to focus on clearing close sight, taking full advantage of the Tech-9s that excel in close-range fights. These also forced Norbert to retreat to Generator to hold from an awkward position. And as the mollies ticked and flashes popped, Karrigan weaved through his teammates' smokes to get past the defenders into CT, catching a ridiculous timing on Jame, who's rotating over from A. This hectic play stuns Virtus.pro. They're just sitting in the smokes and recovering while FaZe is still executing. Amongst all the confusion, Twist is able to work his way up Generator and spams Mur through a smoke, then takes down Norbert, who's trying to edge around the other side of the smoke wall. After Karrigan's sneaky timing play and Twist making short work of the dazed defenders, Virtus.pro has found themselves in a 2 versus 4 and decide to pack up their bags and save their guns for the next round. This was a huge round win for FaZe. Being on a 4 spy, if they had lost this round, they'd have 0 money, which could have potentially given up map point to Virtus.pro. In this next round, Virtus.pro's economy is in shambles as they've just been stunned by Karrigan's play. Deciding what they want to do for this round, they opt to do a mixed buy, where they have a chance to win this round with very few rifles and an MP9, but they reserve money for an op next round too. Virtus.pro start the round with a normal A defense. Flit and Jame go to fight ramp with their rifles as Mur sets them up with a smoke. At the same time, Fame and Norbert dry swing B stairs to fight anybody close. Meanwhile, FaZe are starting this round in a 2-2-1 spread, with Brokey assisting Twist towards under B control, Karrigan assisting Robson mid, and Rain controlling bottom A info. Twist sets off the first domino by throwing the reclear B molly and follow-up flash. Rops begins his mid-contact off of this noise and gets caught by Fame's off-angle. Fame briefly disengages the mid-angle and tries to connect with Norbert, who is eating a couple of flashes from B main. Karrigan was in the middle of throwing a Molotov towards middle when Rops died, but continues his sequence by layering a lurk smoke out and a follow-up grenade into window. FaZe knows that Virtus.pro has full ramp control, so they're diagnosing whether they could make their way up or not, and decided it was best to go back towards B. But wait! What's this? Karrigan has slipped through the cracks again!
Instead, it's being held. Karrigan going for a smoke again here. Look at this. He's hit the timing. He's behind all of them here.
In the confusion over towards B and mid, Karrigan was able to slip through the defender's grasp a second time in as many rounds. As Karrigan makes his way through the CT maze, he relays the info to his team that he's flanking A, and they should come back to A. Midway to B already, Brokey and Rain turn around and start making their way back towards A, this time bringing Twist along for the ride. As Karrigan starts getting behind the A players, Virtus.pro has simultaneously re-aggressed mid and are beginning their shift back to defend A against an A attack. Now Karrigan arrives on A and begins to line up his prey.
Back turned, trigger discipline. He's trying to search for 2, coming around the corner. There it is. So beautiful, so powerful, and it even gets flame.
In situations like this, it's good to first target the player at a distance and take them down with the first 2 bullets because the closer target will be easier to spray afterwards. With the round being decided in this instant, Virtus.pro did what Virtus.pro does best, and Mur and Norbert saved their guns to fight another day. Virtus.pro start this next round out with their normal sequencing and standard setup, but it's here that we can tell that FaZe has found the key to unlock the CT's defenses. Flit and Rain trade out their nade sets on A ramp and agree to a temporary ceasefire. Simultaneously, Twist applied his default B pressure nades and maintained his distance. Everything goes a bit quiet around the map though, as Virtus.pro are lured into a false sense of security. FaZe has a plan this round, and it involves abusing Virtus.pro's rotations as they usually establish A ramp control and then leave A exposed as they shift their setup back towards mid and B. After lying in wait, Rops begins the action on this round by mollying window, flashing behind himself at middle, and popping another lurk smoke in the hopes that multiple Virtus.pro players have to commit to him. As this happens, FaZe do a coordinated triple swing from the bottom of ramp. James is the first one to draw blood as he takes down Rain, but before he can cross back to safety, he's traded out by Twists. Wait, Twists? Isn't that guy normally FaZe's B player? In this round, FaZe are trying to show Twists on the other part of the map in the hopes that they can make Virtus.pro bite hard on that info and leave a gap in their defenses. Kerrigan has assumed the position of Twists and has found his way up B stairs onto the back triple position. He thinks that the site was abandoned, so he holds his position here and calls his teammates back to the B site. But again, Virtus.pro doesn't care about A. Since they've lost all control of ramp and side hull, they'll be forced to play for the retake of A site. When you play retake on one site, it usually means that you're sacrificing it to hold on to other parts of the map. Here, Virtus.pro are holding on to B and middle. FaZe gets to the bottom of B stairs and set up their execute. But will they expect this B setup from Virtus.pro? And will Virtus.pro expect Kerrigan all the way up triple? Kerrigan's spidey senses are tingling and throws a molly at quad. How does he know? Kerrigan?
You're the smartest and the dumbest person I've ever known.
Even though there's a molly, Fame still stands within it. He finds Kerrigan. All that space is now lost out, and whilst Rops, he will find 1 kill back. It's still an awkward round to try and recover here.
Can Brokey get away? That's the most important question. Wait, no, they just bypassed him. They thought they were going towards the A-bomb site. Now Flit, he's revealed his hand, coming in. Rob's
Before he allows the molly to tick and force Fame out of position, Kerrigan YOLO swings, sight completely ignoring Fame at quad. Mollying positions to clear them out is good, but you can hear if someone is barbecuing in the fire or not. If the molly is far away, it's good to wait a couple of seconds, as a good player will tank a little bit of damage in order to get a free kill. Fame is able to swing out and catch Kerrigan in the side. Norbert thinks quick and extinguishes the molly with a smoke, allowing Fame the ability to reposition safely. Twist tries to fly into the site to avenge Kerrigan, but gets blasted in the side by Mur, not anticipating even more players defending B here. But amongst all of the chaos, Rops has now found his mid-timing again and moves to strike. As Rops gets up into the window, he finds Norbert by default box. Flit is still flying over from A site. Rops disengages from window for a moment just as Flit clears window from CT. Rops took a moment to hold for the CT rotation from elevator, but as he finds nothing, he goes back into window to flank B. At the same time, Flit just moved to reposition to CT spawn thinking Rops went back around. Rops finds Fame at default box and moves a step closer to reverse sweeping the game. Mur and Brokey do a little dance around the front site smoke, and Brokey is able to catch Mur as he tries to dive bomb into B main to get away from danger. With Flit all down to a 1 versus 2 after he just witnessed Rops night crawling around mid, he tries to quickly fight FaZe before they can fully stabilize. He spots the backpack of Rops phasing into the smoke, and he tries to punish Rops, but Rops is too quick. Rops then surprises Flit with a swing, and we see FaZe take the lead. FaZe is on tournament point here after turning the game around from being down 1-7. Virtus.pro are setting up very similar to they have been all game, but this time, James is going to have his op close middle in an attempt to shut down Rops. Mur and Flit establish ramp control on A and then set up with a pop flash reclear play. Flit breaks the ramp smoke with his HE grenade and Mur sends a flashbang overhead. As Virtus.pro see no threats nearby and as Rain responds with a molly behind cement, Virtus.pro shift their setup towards side hull to stay a step ahead. It's good to move positions after you've announced yourself because the enemy will waste utility clearing you out of the position, which does two things. One, it tells you where they are. Two, they won't have enough utility to clear you out of your new position and execute on the site. FaZe started the round with Karrigan and Twist quickly taking B main control together, which in conjunction with Rops' mid molly pulls the defenses into passive positions. As soon as Rops puts his anti-opper molly into mid, he drops off the landing and immediately starts to regroup with his team towards the bottom of ramp. Karrigan and Twist are satisfied with the pressure they've just caused over towards B, send a flash into front sight and a smoke over to right side gen, and quietly start grouping towards A, where Rain has already moved up ramp on his lonesome. But Virtus.pro smells something fishy, so they mollied backside of triple, and Norbert scales back catwalk towards quad, trying to get a read on the situation. FaZe has to strike before Virtus.pro reacts to this info. Nothing's up? There's nothing up! Careful A! FaZe position towards a ramp and start their strike.
Rotate towards the A-bomb site. James will in the nick of time, but here comes utility. James strikes, trying to push them into overtime. Mir, however, falls, baits in for Flit. Bomb trying to be planted in the smoke. Flit, though, standing the tallest right now in this server. Can't deny the bomb. It's being backstabbed by Robs, and Robs will alleviate that pressure. But
Virtus.pro has been so good this game with re-clearing positions that they're able to lean James onto A site before FaZe's hit came. Because FaZe used so much utility early on at B, and also to take ramp control, they were tapped dry by the time they got to the top of ramp. Since FaZe only had one smoke left, they could have used it left side sight and scaled through side hull together to prevent dying to multiple angles. Instead, they opt to smoke elevator and swing up ramp side heavy. They were not expecting James to be sitting pretty in heaven with an op. James was able to take out Karrigan instantly, and on this pressure, Flit underhanded a defensive smoke to front sight to help him isolate angles from close right, you stupid f. As Rain and Twist push forwards, they eat some flashes and Rain gets taken out pushing through a smoke. Twist follows through the site trying to find any enemies, but can't find anything until he found Flit, but his body was already pumped full of lead. Brokey is able to narrowly get the bomb planted at default box and escape with his life, with some cover from Rops, but both go down immediately after reinforcements arrive for Virtus.pro. As we get deeper and deeper into overtime rounds, we're going to start seeing funky stuff happen. At this stage of the game, both teams are pretty familiar with what they can expect from the other team, and also know what did and didn't work for them earlier in the game. FaZe are starting this round in a 1-1-3 setup where they are not using any nades early towards B or mid, but instead they do this smoke to side hull from T-base, and Karrigan combines it with another smoke on ramp. Brokey has his T-side op out and is starting on ramp holding the crane peak and anybody that might peek over the smokes. Virtus.pro on the other side of things decides that they are going to keep on trucking with the same 1-1-1-2 setup despite only getting 4 rounds on their CT side. Instead of doing their usual ramp smoke to fight behind, James has his op out and wants to get a deep line down yellow. Flit gets positioned crane and does a jump throw flash to get James on the line. James tries to find an angle around the side hull smoke that FaZe through, but was completely locked out. Instead, he decides to recycle another smoke into yellow to prevent FaZe from moving up and decides to fully back off into a passive turret position. Both teams are proceeding with extreme caution here, as nobody wants to get ahead of themselves. FaZe want to recreate a previous round of pressuring back B and middle in order to pull the defense away from A ramp so that they can walk up for free and execute on a weaker site. Twist starts the sequence of events off by doing his re-clear B molly and flash. Rops is next up and sends out this smoke into middle, followed up by a flash. This is not a traditional smoke, but it will allow him to cross the lane or peek above the smoke, which will require 2 defenders to watch it or risk a timing. He follows up with a Molotov to window, and just before he disengages to group with his team, he throws an HE grenade for good measure. But while this was happening, FaZe has had everyone else already walking up A ramp and taking all the free real estate. They get into their staging positions, and here we go.
Back from VP, but Flit can't capitalize off the back of it.
Yeah, Flit was really far away. The flashbang was coming in. I was like, I don't know what Flit can do with this because he's not in a position to actually utilize that flash. And now here comes the artillery. Flit alongside Mir. They're just lurking around these smokes. This is so confusing. The bomb, it has to get planted with Flit in the back line. The espionage is successful. Drops the bomb. It has to be reclaimed by Karrigan, but he has no idea where Flit is. Somehow finds the kill. Bomb still, though, yet to be retrieved. Karrigan, what's he doing? He needs to get the bomb. He's still finding frags, though. He's fighting forward. There's no time. They might get the kills, but the bomb, it's been dropped. James, but
Everything was looking good for FaZe. So what went wrong here? Well, at the start of the execute, Brokey was supposed to do this smoke that lands between default box and elevator. It is supposed to bounce off of the yellow scaffold, but he aims it a little bit too high. Instead of bouncing off of the yellow scaffold, it bounced off of the gray crossbeams, off the wall, and into the rebar area. This was the catastrophic beginnings to FaZe's end in this round. Mur further drives a nail into the coffin by first extending the site smoke to delay FaZe's approach, then throws a molly deep from site into side hull. Karrigan was already up side hull though, and had cleared out all of the close rebar angles, and even finds himself a little pocket of air in between all of the smokes. He did not expect any CTs to be brazen enough to sneak past him. With a molly preventing ADTs from holding from side hull, Flit is able to squeeze through the smoke and find this timing onto Twists in the back. There were only 18 seconds remaining on the clock, and Twists was the bomb carrier. With the smoke still shrouding his movement, Flit was able to escape back for a second, knowing that Karrigan needed to find him immediately. The smokes start to dissipate, and Karrigan is able to find Flit, now exposed. With the bomb still down, just a few steps away from Karrigan, the clock keeps on ticking away. Amongst all the chaos and confusion, Karrigan doesn't realize that the time is so low and that he needed to recover the package and plant. Virtus.pro keep taking pot shots at FaZe as FaZe presses forwards, but Fame recognizes what's happening here and he tucks away into elevator to secure the round win via timeout. This failed smoke set off a sequence of unlucky timings culminating into FaZe losing to the clock. If FaZe doesn't want to call this one a fake comeback, they cannot let another timing like that happen again. Virtus.pro had a gnarly first half, including a 6-round lead over FaZe at one point. And a part of that thorn in FaZe's side was Flit and his antics around a ramp. At the start of this round, we see Brokey holding a close middle angle with his op. Twist is denying B space early on from the tees, and Rops is in position to assist. Karrigan throws some nades towards a ramp to help Rain get established. And Rain is tasked with the entirety of A on his lonesome again. Virtus.pro starts off with a 1-2-2, with Fame applying generic bottom B pressure, and Mur doubled up middle with Norbert, ready to activate on a trigger. James is assisting Flit with his A ramp control speedrun attempt. As Flit gets to the top of ramp, the cue is sent to the mid players, and we're about to see the sequence unfold.
Pro potentially can still be closing it out. And it was that T side that was incredibly favorable for them. Missed shot forces Brokey back. That gap smoke has been missing incredibly consistently, but take a look at Flit. He's already up. This is so unexpected. Rain is not going to be ready for it. And he's the only player here at A. If Flit pounces, well, this could be the end of FaZe on Vertigo.
But how did he get here? At the start of the round, as he was moving up with his lurk smoke, he wasn't fought off by anyone. Because these teams are so deep in overtime, this is where the mind games start to happen. Virtus.pro has been so quiet all round, and once they show players in middle, it usually implies a B split. But FaZe has started the round faking presence on A and are playing for a B split to happen. Since Rops is the normal middle defender, once Virtus.pro sees Brokey in middle with an op, they know A is going to be open. As Flit was able to navigate up ramp, slipping past Rain's guard, he calls his teammates back to A where FaZe is none the wiser. Flit has seen this opening from FaZe several times before and recognizes that FaZe's parents aren't home, so he's coming over. FaZe didn't do any follow-up utility to establish control, nor did they do any spamming like in previous rounds. Rain is still sending a smoke to side hull and a molly to A ramp as if FaZe has been contesting the space with multiple players all along. Virtus.pro is now giggling to themselves as they're about to take this round like stealing candy from a baby. Just as Virtus.pro set up and start making noise on their approach, FaZe catches wind and starts to shift over to defend. Rain doesn't want to be chilling in the back again, so he moves up a bit closer to get a better angle and take Virtus.pro by surprise with a flash from Brokey.
and that could be to his downfall because he doesn't pounce. It's going to be too late. Will still...
Rain has a jump scare IRL as Flit assassinates him from the side, but now with his position compromised, he panics and he swings wide across the site. But he was safe there. Nothing could have killed him as he was nestled into the corner with his teammates' nades and positioning to back him up. And everything starts to fall apart for Virtus.pro.
Rain, but the rotations have come in. He's made that space. Brokey, what a trade. Karrigan, they're just erupting from the smokes. We could still be alive on Vertigo. However, the bomb attempt to be picked up. James holding for Rops, but Rops just sided him. Now it's all down to Mir. Bomb being planted. 1 versus 2. Spots out Twist. Can't get the fight. And with the utilization of the new...
Composure is super important when you hit timings, but it is as important after you hit your timings as before you hit them. Otherwise, all of your hard work can be undone in an instant. Remember to stay calm, cool, and collected, and follow through with your play. FaZe was able to recover in the first overtime after a scare with Virtus.pro having map point. And now they have cleaned up their CT side with 2 round wins in a row, leading us into their final CT round in double overtime. Karrigan is tired of this game being prolonged and is ready to take matters into his own hands. Again. As Virtus.pro has been proving to be a pain in the rump, I mean ramp, Karrigan wants to stuff them before they could be a major threat. Before anybody can get situated out of spawn, Karrigan is slingshotting himself out of spawn towards Crane to take advantage of his forward spawn. Virtus.pro is starting 3 towards A ramp as they think they've cracked the code, with Flit being a nuisance for FaZe all game. But Karrigan cannonballs from Crane to ramp and begins to lick his chops.
Which has been composing a lot of this. When we talked about aggressive plays, this time it's not coming in from mid, it's coming in from A ramp. Karrigan's let Flit walk straight past him. And he's now organising all this chaos. Rain on the follow-up, another 2-player advantage.
Oh, it's a 2-player advantage with so much HP as well. That is magnificent.
In order for this play to work, you need to have the best spawn towards A, and this smoke needs to land deep down ramp before you turn the corner at Crane. Since the CTs cannot get to yellow from side hall before the Ts can post up on the angle, Virtus.pro won't expect anyone to be here unless their best spawn was able to peek Crane before the smoke bloomed. Karrigan was able to take down Flit, and just as quickly as he got there, he was gone. Rain also came to the rescue by nading the bottom of ramp and suppressing fire. With a 2-kill lead this early into the round, surely FaZe will keep their numbers and start counting their bank account balances.
Leaping into the unknown, leaping into the fold. He even gets away with his life. Rain, perfect coverage, a grenade, a kill, further damage.
Oh, FaZe, you've done it again. Now down to a 3 versus 3 and 2 of the last remaining Ts being tenderized by Rops and Rain, Karrigan shifts into side hall. Virtus.pro slows their roll a bit, knowing that FaZe has been quite aggressively re-peeking and re-aggroing all throughout the game, but Karrigan doesn't want any of that again. This time, he's sitting tight.
Scenarios in which VP do their best work. That molly completely isolates Karrigan, and that flashbang, full blind.
With a molly burning on the ground behind him and a flashbang in his face, he full blind, full auto headshots Fame. Karrigan is counting his blessings. With nobody immediately trading him and the molly dissipating, it's time to go. But not before James was able to ascend into side holes and catch Karrigan in his badunkadunk. Oh man, the timing! 2 versus 2, and Virtus.pro is able to get into the site with smokes on the left and right and slam the package down. Suddenly, this unlosable round is very spooky for FaZe.
On site, there is kits on 2 individuals. Flash goes out for FaZe clan. Norbert 6 HP. He needs to be very careful. Smoke on the bomb, so the Molotov can't affect that. James tapping away, baiting in for Norbert, but now it has to be Norbert. James dropped, bomb being defused. No one's holding gap. Norbert holds a spray and he succeeds. That's it. Twist has no time, and Norbert with 6 HP.
With such low time on the clock, Virtus.pro need to force a plant while they still have the cover smoke still up. Twist could have spammed at the planter, but tries to punish the fall away and play out the 2 versus 2 instead. Since the smokes were thrown well before the bomb was planted, they could dissipate with plenty of time for the CTs to clear the site and bait the remaining Ts into peeking. Brokey also underhands a smoke on top of the bomb and taps the defuse. Virtus.pro won't know if he's on it or not, so they'll have to take a gamble by fighting and spamming the smoke, or by waiting and hoping that it was a fake defuse. James spams away at the smoke trying to kill the diffuser, but is baited into the open where Brokey's able to put him down. Since Brokey has the op, he gets onto the defuse and trusts Twist to cover him. A rifle is a much safer weapon to use in this situation because if you miss your op shot, the round's usually over, but with an M4, you can recover more easily. But there seemed to be some sort of confusion as Twist was looking at the wrong spot and Norbert was able to spam Brokey through the smoke and deny the defuse before Twist could get an angle on him. If this thing goes to another overtime, I'm only going to start picking games that end in regulation. FaZe maintained their lead coming into the final round of double overtime. They are on tournament point again, but Virtus.pro have wrangled out of that before. Virtus.pro decided to kick the action off here with a decently aggressive approach to A ramp, this time taking Mur along for the ride. Fame is also trying to stir some spice into the mix by using his nades aggressively at B before falling back to his passive position. Rain is approaching ramp a similar way that he has been all throughout the game. Brokey, Kerrigan, and Rops all set up shop towards middle for this set piece. Twist does his default smoke and flash towards under B and immediately falls back to link up with his teammates. Virtus.pro have all of ramp control for free again, so Mur peels off to help support middle, leaving Jame and Flit to retain the control of ramp. As FaZe gets grouped up with 3 players close middle, Kerrigan sets up with this smoke that will land elevator. Rops makes it look like he's by himself middle by doing his default nades to push off the potential upper and starts to slowly creep out. Once at the big box, it's time to cue the action.
FaZe vying for 19. Looking to do it out of middle. Mir and Norbert in tandem strike, but a nice trade from Twist. Yes, they've lost their talisman in middle, and Twist got to be very careful because Fire is hot, and he's confirmed that. However, because he's gone so far out of that Molotov, they don't anticipate him to be so close as he is. But what if FaZe do? They're everywhere. Like, okay, grand. Kerrigan's up on that B bomb site, but they are everywhere. Rain on...
Rain can taste the glory already, but how did he even get here? With the smoke that Kerrigan threw landing elevator, Brokey sends a pop flash out middle for Rops and Twist to take the space. With middle being such a problem earlier for Virtus.pro, they're calling all hands on deck to deal with this matter. Mur drops an incendiary in the middle of mid and tries to play safe, maybe too safe, to defend against the push. In the gap that Mur creates, Norbert is the only one fighting off the attackers and gets taken down window immediately after decapitating Rops. Flit and Jame have completely abandoned A to deal with this mid push. Normally when teams use mid like this and smoke off elevator, it's to crunch B together as a lot of the powerful positions to defend against B attacks are exposed to this window position. As Fame also peels off from B main after dropping his defensive smoke, it gives Kerrigan the space to walk up into danger. But Rain has also walked up into an uncontested A site. FaZe now has the options to end either site, but also have the added bonus of backstab potential. As the round slows down a bit and the dust settles, Flint moves back into A site, anticipating FaZe to regroup and attack from a different angle. But he doesn't anticipate this literal millisecond lurk timing from Rain, who eliminates the only barrier into A site. Rain drops a molly into CT heaven area to delay rotations as Brokey collects the bomb and does a marathon over to A site. Not wanting to go into another overtime, Brokey slows down and begins to creep up A ramp. If there was a second defender already in side hall before Rain got there, it could have devastating consequences for FaZe. As he slowly works his way up, Kerrigan begins his backstab, thinking that Virtus.pro would be moving all of their reinforcements to A. Fame catches Kerrigan, and the jig is up. The end of the round is gonna be at A. Rain got into a forward position in elevator and waits for his prey to come to be taken to the afterlife.
Position, do him justice it does. Mir falls the wayside. It all is called upon Fame and Jame rotating from that B-bomb site. Brokey has James' number. Fame coming from elevators, spots out Rain. But what can he get done here? Walks into Brokey's crosshair. And
so what did you think of these timings? Were they actually timings? Or could they have been avoided? You tell us. Now, one thing that can't be avoided is this stupid strong smoke that's been dominating Ancient.